One of the biggest fears over the Ebola virus is a possibility it could become airborne. Dr. Noreen Khan-Mayberry, also known as a Tox Doc, is here to explain just how likely or unlikely that is. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Almost everybody I know keeps saying it's a conspiracy theory. It is airborne because people are getting it and it doesn't make sense when they're wearing protection. Can you explain to us what the situation is with Ebola right now?
So here's the nuance between airborne. The virus will not, proliferate on its own or be carried through air. Unfortunately, it will be carried in a vector, such as a sneeze. So a sneeze can travel 200 feet. The CDC and the World Health Organization have maintained that Ebola can be transferred through bodily fluids. So if you're not, taking precautions with protecting yourself from various bodily fluids, Ebola can be transferred in that bodily fluid.
Before we were only hearing, though, that you can only get it from vomit and blood was the first thought. There was no mention of the saliva because so that it wouldn't scare people from a cough or a sneeze.
You didn't want to create this sense of fear, but as I said, it's always been on their websites is that it can be transferred through any bodily fluid. That's why when you are sleeping on a surface and you have Ebola, everything has to be burned, the clothing, the pillows, because as you sleep, bodily fluids get transferred there too.
And certainly as we see there, talking about contaminated objects, it's just medical equipment, that would also be a big concern. Okay, let's talk about the fact that sometimes viruses do change. They morph into different things. Is there any concern that this could become different than what it is right now?
Well, let's talk about the fact that it's almost a perfect virus as it is, because the reason is that it's easily transferable. During its incubation or latency period, it has no perceivable symptoms, and then it overwhelms the immune system and causes maximum toxic impact. Of course, the etiology can change, the viral outcome can change, but right now what we really want to be careful of is that we don't cause excess fear. It's unlikely that you're going to get the virus. However, if you're working with someone, you do have to take extra precautions because there are so many different ways that it can be transferred very easily.
I don't know if you've seen them, but there are some very frightful photos that are surfacing on the internet right now that show people being completely disfigured by this. Talk to us about the truth or not truth of those.
Well, those pictures, they are again meant to fearmonger, but the fact is it wreaks havoc internally and it causes a very quick decline once it's reached its maximum impact in your body. And like I said, it overwhelms the immune system and that's why it's so scary. I have people saying to me, Dr. Noreen, I'd rather take my chances, getting the AIDS virus as opposed to Ebola because Ebola takes you out quickly. So, again, we don't want to fearmonger. It's not likely that you're going to get it, but if you are around someone that has been exposed, you really need to be careful.
Okay, thanks for walking us through it all. And like you said, at this point, it is very rare in our country, and everything that could be done by our government and medical workers is to try to prevent it from spreading.
Most definitely. We all want to be safe here. We don't want this to become a pandemic or something that is carried, that we think is carried airborne all over the place.
All right, Dr. Khan-Mayberry, thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much.
You've heard it from the Tox Doc.